Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the state's education chief will talk about the latest letter grades issued to Arizona public schools, and the mayor of Tempe will tell us about a spike in commercial real estate development in the downtown area. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The latest letter grades for Arizona public schools are out. The assessments issued by the state's Department of Education. And joining us now is Arizona Superintendent of Public Instruction, John Huppenthal. Good to see you again.
It's great to be here.
All right, we saw the grades are out. Slight improvement?
Yes. The math scores were up a percentage point. Reading scores were up a percentage point. And we were elated, actually, because we have now become, for the very first time, a majority-minority school system. So minorities outnumber Caucasians now in the Arizona school system. That is increasing the demographic challenge to our school system. So we've met that demographic challenge and put some points on the board, too.
21% of schools increased, 16% decreased. Obviously, that there's success in there, but why not more improvement? What's happening out there?
Well, you have a number of challenges. I mentioned the demographic challenge that they overcome and made some progress. I think we're elated with that. And we have financial stress that they overcame. They overcame the transition to the new higher standards and the new teacher evaluation and principal evaluation. So a number of shocks to the system. They digested it all and put some improvements up. I'm elated.
As far as the criteria used for these particular grades, give us some insight as to what's being looked at and how that's being assessed.
Well, when we started, we had less than 20% of our schools being A schools. They've responded to the challenge, and now that's moved up to 28%. So people, perhaps rightfully, see a little grade inflation. The thing that we are going to do when we move over to the new standards is to take a new look at that and see if there's a clear dividing line. What we want to do is have an environment where the typical student who's in our school system for 13 years, that if they're in an A school, they go out and they're college and career ready, the typical student. So we need to look at what they call the psychometrics, the measurement of the progress, and ensure that an A school means that a student comes out of, after 13 years, college and career ready.
I want to talk about those new standards in a second, but as far as the criteria, again, is concerned, passing aims, is that a factor in terms of these grades?
Aims. So there's two measures. There's the academic results and the academic gains. And you have to think about that for a second. So the academic results are what percentage of the students passed aims, and the academic gains are what's the percentile rank of the academic gains of the students in your school, with a particular emphasis on the lowest quartile, moving them up, having the highest emphasis.
I saw that a 1% uptick in kids passing the Ames test. 1%, again, that sounds kind of modest here.
It is pretty modest, but when you think of the demographic challenge, more of the students coming from low-income minority backgrounds and all of the shocks in the system right now, I was pretty happy. I was actually anticipating that we might take a dip. So when we move up under those kinds of challenges and stresses, I'm happy.
So you're saying with the challenges and stresses could explain why 57% passed science section of Ames, 56% passed the writing section.
Now,
again, that's not all that high.
Those are some separate issues there, and one of the things that we very much have to consider is the point system by which we do our letter grades in our school system. We're looking at all the other states, and we're looking at the think tanks and what are they saying. But I think that we need to consider moving writing in and making it part of the letter grading, and we have to move the science in and making it part of the letter grading. And then finally, there needs to be some other aspects of quality in there. And that's quality as perceived by parents and perhaps by students, too.
Will those changes be coming with Common Core, the new requirements that are coming in this schools, which has we've talked about it a lot on the program, but still a lot of folks are just now figuring out that things are changing come this next school year.
Yes, and it's the logical time to do it. Again, these aren't decisions that I make by myself. We have to make sure these are fully vetted scientifically and then presented to the state board, that we get a consensus in the school community. We have a lot of advisory community groups that weigh in on these things that are technical experts. So there's a process. But with this direction, I think as I look at the research, is we need to head down that road.
Will we be heading down that road, though, when Common Core takes over, or will there be a bump in the road?
Well, the Common Core is a much higher standard than the Ames standard. So we're going to have a lower percentage of our students passing the test right from the get-go. So we're going to have to rework the A through F letter grading system when that comes into place.
So there will be some changes in terms of the assessment.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be rolling out essentially a brand new test. And the new test is going to do some very important things. It's going to more accurately measure academic achievement at the upper end of the scale. We haven't been doing that very accurately, and I think it's a huge weakness of the Ames portfolio that we're not accurately measuring students who are 85th percentile and above. And that's a major fault of Ames.
You mentioned the demographic challenges out there. What are the impacts, you think, of budget cuts? Because I know you've been quoted as saying that perhaps the legislature has done too much in terms of cutting education budget here in Arizona. Talk to me about that.
Well, part of this, I went into my press conference, wanted to lay out the Ames results, and Howie Fisher did what Howie Fisher does, which sort of changed the subject a little bit. But I think it's an important subject. But my position hasn't changed. I've always felt that the education community should get its prior year funding plus almost enough to cover inflation. So not enough to completely cover it, because they should contribute to the productivity of society too. We haven't come close to doing that. And as a result, there's a lot of stress on the system. Money may not be correlated with outcomes, but the lack of money induces stress, and that distracts the system from its primary mission, budget cuts.
Has that position of yours changed a little bit since you've gone into this job? You were at the legislature, you're now in this position. Seeing things a little differently?
You know, I am to a certain extent, but also I continue to read a lot of research, and I see New York City. They doubled their budget. They went from almost doubled it, from $12 billion to $21 billion. Not a lot to show for it, if anything. I see states like Wyoming up at $16,000 a student. Not a lot to show for it. So I read a lot of research, but also I know the distraction caused by budget cuts. And it's a distraction that distracts my leaders from their primary mission, which is supporting teachers and improving students in the classroom.
It sounded like you gave a little bit of a shot against your former colleagues when you said that corporate giveaways were inappropriate when school resources were needed. Expound on that a little, please.
Well, I'm a firm believer that we need to keep our tax rates as low as possible. Personal income taxes that affect our businesses, and our corporate tax rates, and our property tax rates. Where I get extreme concern is when they go out and try to buy economic growth. I read a lot of research. When I was in the legislature, I read a lot of research on economic development. There's a powerful case to be made that your students benefit from lower tax rates and a good economic portfolio. Over the last 20 years, Arizona ranks 5th in the nation at economic growth and job growth. But a part of that portfolio, to me, was never buying your economic growth. I'm very concerned about it, taking money that rightfully should be going to education when you're cutting education. And also, what they don't realize is we're endangering the future of school choice. School choice depends on a healthy general fund. If that general fund is in critical condition, it could shut down our entire school choice market. And our school choice enterprise is a huge economic generator for Arizona.
You know, the Speaker of the House heard your quotes and commented in responding. You basically said that you've never been down there lobbying for classroom funding. Is he correct?
The classroom funding, the Speaker of the House, and I have no problems with the Speaker of the House. I applaud him completely. He was responsible for leading us through a very tough period of time, and he made tough decisions. No problem with that at all. This was started a little bit like by Howie Fisher.
Well, regardless of who started, have you been down there lobbying for classroom funding?
Not this year. The $82 million, I was happy with that. You could see it going from the get-go. But what I'm trying to do is look down the future. What I'm concerned about is now, with the economy turning up a little bit, we'll have some cash. I'm worried about them going out again on these corporate giveaways instead of sticking to priorities, which should be funding education. These corporate giveaways, to me, do a number of corruptions. They corrupt the lobbying process. They corrupt the economic development process. You have all these economists coming up with these fake studies about the impact of these things. I feel strongly about and this isn't railing against tax cuts, because tax cuts strengthen the economy and they give jobs to students leaving high school and college. That's healthy for students.
But it is, last question, it is suggesting that you go down there, or you might be going down there in the next session perhaps, and protecting Arizona education funding.
Well, I felt more strongly about this and what they do down there from the standpoint of education, the future of our children, the future of our state. And I feel like I don't have to be a part of that system. In some ways, it's harder to speak when you're part of the system than when you're outside of it. And if I see a lot of this giveaway behavior going on down there, I'm going to be speaking about it more loudly. It risks the future of our education system, and I think it puts at risk the future of our state and its prospects, too.
Speaker thinks with those kinds of ideas, maybe you should run for the legislature again.
You know, sometimes it's easier to speak when you're outside the legislature. And let me tell you, I do nothing but laud the leadership of the Speaker. He led us through a rough patch, and he's returned us to the top 10 in the nation. I have no problem with the Speaker and his actions.
It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Major real estate developments are on the increase in Tempe with a number of ambitious commercial projects ready to get started. Tempe Mayor Mark Mitchell is here to discuss the city's building boom. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Ted. Thank you.
That is quite a. Let's start with the biggie down here, the State Farm development along Town Lake. This is huge.
Oh, this is huge. This is the largest Class A office building ever built one time in the state's history. Right, happening right now in downtown Tempe on the Rio Salado.
Where exactly is this going to go?
It's going to go just north of Sun Devil Stadium between Rural and about halfway down close to the residential Bridgeview units on Tempe Town Lake. So it's the whole south.
Those are parking lots right now?
They are parking lots right now.
Okay, do they go all the way to that last residential tower, or will...
There will be one more residential unit built between State Farm and what we call Bridgeview, which is a residential unit there. So we'll have one more residential component called the Lofts, and then you're going to have State Farm, which is all Class A $600 million project, 2 million square feet.
My good. Okay. Office only? Any retail? Any residential?
There will be some retail to help, serve the campus. So I believe there's going to be 40,000 square feet of retail there.
Oh, at the State Farm development?
Correct.
Okay, what about residential?
No residential.
Okay, but you said there will be another residential tower going next to those two that are there right now along
Correct.
the waterfront.
Yes, the City Council approved, and it will be hopefully starting soon.
And isn't there another commercial office real estate deal going right there at the corner, right there when you get off of the Mill Avenue Bridge?
There is. It's called Hayden Ferry Lakeside, which was the first project on the lake. We are hopefully soon going to break ground on the third tower at Hayden Ferry Lakeside, which will consist of 250,000 square feet of Class A office space, as well. It's going to be 10 stories as tall. It's just going to mirror the original plan.
So just basically another tower to go with the other.
Yep.
Okay.
We have the demand.
So the State Farm development thing, has ground been broken?
Not yet. It will be very, very soon. It's going to happen this month.
Okay. So what kind of timetable are we looking at? Phasing in the projects?
All at one time.
No phase-in?
No phase-in.
Everything at once? Kaboom.
Everything's going to be at once. Kaboom. 2015.
At the end of 2015?
Correct.
That quickly?
Yes.
You ready for this? You got the infrastructure all set for this?
We're ready for it. We're working with our partners at ASU, and we're very well planned out the infrastructure needs that we have in our community. So I think we're ready to go.
And how many employees you figure will be down there?
They're saying 8,000, but we'll see what happens.
My goodness. As far as the original plan for that stretch, was it something similar to this? When did State Farm all of a sudden become a player here? Because this seems relatively recent.
It is. It's relatively recent, but this development around and in around Tempe is not by accident. For many, many years, the council and past councils have worked diligently to have the necessary infrastructure to house projects like we're going to see State Farm and other projects like the Grand, or we also have GoDaddy coming to South Tempe at the Research Park, which is a 150,000 square foot building. We just secured Union Bank from California. They're coming into Arizona. So this is a work in progress. We've prepared ourselves very, very well to handle the infrastructure needs of projects when they come in to our city.
State Farm in particular, the other development projects you mentioned in general, Were incentives involved to entice these corporations?
No, the only incentive is we continue to invest in our infrastructure to attract companies because we have a great quality of life in our community. And companies look for that. We have a great art scene. We have great public amenities for our residents, as well as the employees that come here. So I think that it really is the attraction is our central location. We're right next to the university, the downtown area. We have great neighborhoods. You know, we have great schools. I know you just had Superintendent Huppenthal on. Tempe schools in general, the high school district has the highest number of Flynn scholars in any high school district in the state.
Well, let me go back now to the State Farm development, though. If this were happening 5 years ago, would they be more responsible for maintenance of the lake than they would be now?
No, because the original intent was to cover the cost of the lake. So each landowner is assessed, which is a lake assessment district that we have. So right now, you know, State Farm is going to be paying into that lake assessment when they're built. 100%, whatever the construction costs, divvied up among the shareholders around the lake. So it's a good thing to have development occur on our lake to pay those covering the cost of the lake.
And I asked whether or not it's changed because I know the city is looking again at the town lake plan and maybe a revised plan to make it a little more affordable for development there. Give us an update on that. First of all, are you looking at that? And secondly, is that a wise idea?
Yeah, what we're looking at right now, if an undeveloped property, they only pay 20% of the lake assessments with interest. Well, the city of Tempe, we've been fiscally responsible. So we refinanced our construction debt. So our construction rate is only 3.64%. So what we went to the owners around the lake, we had to go to the facilities district and said we've been charging them 5%. So what we're trying to do is be in market in line with this so that we can encourage more development. And State Farm, the Marina Heights project, is just going to be a catalyst for more development to happen.
So when critics will say developers are going to get more breaks, they're getting breaks here regarding the cost of the lake, you say?
No, it's the opposite because right now we're paying. You know, if we're paying 3.64% interest on our construction debt, and the whole point of the lake assessments is to recover the cost of the construction of the lake, working with the landowners, that's all we're doing. We're being in line with the market.
Does it mean higher taxes, more involvement with Tempe residents here?
No, it's not going to increase taxes. It's not going to deplete funds going to our neighborhood parks and other capital improvement programs. This just has to deal with the lake assessments around the lake.
I want to get to USA Place here in a second, but one last thing about the lake. The original projections with the lake would be built out by now, and development would account for maybe 60% of the cost of the lake. Obviously not built out by now, and I think it's like 20%. What happened?
We're working on the economy. I mean, it's the free market. You know, we're working with the free market. We have development on the North Shore. We do have development on the South Shore. You're seeing it now with we approved the Lofts, which is a residential unit, and now we have State Farm, and obviously we're seeing more interest as the economy is turning back around. So I think it's going to continue to be a catalyst to infill that development around the lake.
And we're looking at the vision here of the State Farm development. This is a projection of what it's going to look like, and everything from those condos all the way over, that's massive. I mean, that really is a massive project.
It really is massive, and it's very good looking architecture with Davis Architects, and you're still going to have the view corridors, which I think is important.
Okay, so basically it's not side by side.
Correct.
You get a little bit of airflow through there.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to USA Place. This is at Mill and University, and this is the idea of USA Basketball. They build a bunch of basketball courts there? What's going on here?
No, well, for many, many years we've been looking for a hotel conference center, and out of this came discussions of an entertainment venue, and then USA Place came. They responded to an RFP. By no means is this a done deal. We still have to work out the agreements with the City Council as well as with Arizona State University. We are partnering with them. And what's really exciting is the hotel aspect of it with the conventions, with the meeting space, but also the opportunity to have USA Place as well.
With this being an ASU project, how much input does the city have? What are your concerns, and how much of an impact are those concerns on the project?
Our big concern is we need meeting space. We want ample meeting space to go after those mini conferences, if you will, to complement all of the stuff that university is providing from the Bioscience Institute, from the engineering college, and so the W.P. Carey School and the other schools throughout the campus. They have a place to use for their conferences and their meeting space. So it's a tremendous opportunity. With tourism being the second largest industry in our state, it only makes sense. Essentially located where we are, our proximity to Sky Harbor, makes sense to have a hotel conference meeting space.
Well, it sounds like a hotel is in the plans. Is that
Absolutely.
Kind of what you're looking at?
Yes.
What you think should happen?
Yes.
So is there going to be an arena there?
There could be a potential for arena there.
Like 5,000-seat arena or something like that?
That's what's been reported by your news outlet and many others.
Yeah, okay, all right. Office space, retail?
There's going to be some retail mixed in there and some, livable units, residences as well.
There will be residential there as well. And again, we're talking Millen Universe, where the
All the way
Chili's,
to where the Chili's is.
and Chili's and a whole bunch of parking, where they used to have that
Where
strip
Jams
mall.
used to be, where Towers
Yeah.
Records used to be, yes.
So when could this break ground?
We're hopefully, we'll see. I mean, it's in the future, hopefully within a year. But that's all depends on the agreements that the City Council approves, as well as working with ASU.
And again, not to get too deep in the weeds here, but because, again, this is ASU, a project here, does the city get much in the way of tax revenue here? Does the city have to reimburse the project in any way?
Well, it depends on how the deal is structured. It will be performance-based, so there's no out-of-money pocket, from the city. In other words, no city tax dollars, just revenue produced. Whatever revenues are produced on the project will go back into the project to help with the project. I think it's very, very important. We understand what tourism means to the state of Arizona, so that's something that the city of Tempe is very interested in. To go after those tourism, get beds and heads, as we refer to in the industry, to really get that marketing and the exposure for Tempe.
But there will be infrastructure costs. You can't have all that without digging up
Oh
some
no,
pipes
there will
here.
be some infrastructure costs, and the project should, development should pay for itself, and it's going to happen.
All right. Well, it sounds like you are very busy down there. Be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
It's exciting.
Thanks for joining us. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
And tomorrow on Arizona Horizon, President Obama is in town to talk about home ownership opportunities for the middle class. And after we hear portions of the president's speech, we'll hear from two economists on their views regarding housing and the middle class. That's Tuesday evening, 5:30 on Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
If you have comments about Arizona Horizon, please contact us at one of the addresses on your screen. Your comments may be used on a future edition of Arizona Horizon. Thank you. Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.